In this chapter, we are going to deep dive about object repository and test suite. When we deal with object repository, we will see how the web elements are stored into object repository and what are the different attributes. Along with that, we will see how a test case can be called from a test suite or a test suite collection to generate reports in various formats. So this was our earlier test script that we have recorded. As you can see in the objects column is the different web element that has been captured. If you want to see the different attributes or what this object is made up of, you can do a right click on the object that you want to analyze, right click on it and go to the last option that is open and the name of the object. Click on it, click on the attributes, scroll down and you can see the particular object which is here is click on the username, which is nothing but this particular field over here. Yeah, this field. So we are analyzing what this web element is made up of and how Katalon can interact to this during the record or playtime. So going to the object repository of this object and you can see that particular object is made up of these many things, and for interaction during the execution or the record time, this is the option that has been selected. So user name is actually the name of this particular web element. A web element can be interacted in Katalon Studio or even in any automation framework like Selenium using ID, name, class, XPath and whatnot. In this example, here it is interacting with this web element using the visible text that is the user name. Another example, if we see, for example, password, right click on it, go to attributes, and for interacting with this particular field, which is the password field, it is making use of these elements, that is the name, ID, and the visible text. You can enable or disable any of these options based on the checkboxes over here if issue arises. Generally, in Katalon versions above 5.5, issues with XPath and any other kind of web element locator is not a common issue. But if it happens for a particular web element that cannot be interacted, and when you get exceptions like web element not found, that is the place where you need to go and inspect that particular object repository for that particular object and see the various options. If the texts are static, generally it will not have any problem, but if there is some dynamic context, then we need to see through. So that is how we see and analyze the object repositories. Also the same web elements, you can see it from the left hand side, which is the object repository. So for example, if I go to object repository of this test case, which is under Orange HRM and span home, or maybe if you want to see for username, it would be under over here. So even if you double click on this one, it will bring up the same UI where you can see. So in the XPath, it would be the finalized full qualified XPath for interacting to that particular web element. I have not done any changes, so I will just leave it as it is. So that is all about object repository, and if the issue happens, this is how we need to analyze. Another thing that we are going to see in this chapter is how we can create or run a test case from a test suite where a report can be generated into an HTML format. Because if you execute the test case from the test case folder simultaneously, the result in the console, the previous result from the console will not be saved anywhere. So let us now see how we can generate a report and keep it for our future analysis. So for that, we need to go to a test suite and you can create a new folder. So I will just name it as Orange HRM, click on OK. So this is just a folder. Inside that, you can right click and create a test suite. You can give name, any logical name, and I will just call it as test suite. Click on OK. And now this test suite is empty. We can add up the test cases that has been created already to run from a test suite to generate a report. For that, click on add button and it will point to the test case folder that we have. So basically these are all the test case folders that we have, and the one that we need for this demo is to go for the online tutorial, I believe. Go over here and yes, login HRM. Click checkbox over here and click on OK. Now you can see the test case has been referenced to this particular test case which is under here, this one. Even you can see the path. This test suite is referring to a test case from the test case folder, which is this. Then subfolder is online tutorial, which is the name of from the test suite, and then the name of the test case is your login HRM. So if we generate or run the report, run the test case from a test suite, it will generate a report for us. So let us try to run it as it is and see the report can be generated or not. Save it before you execute. Anyway, Katalon will prompt you to save the test case if you're trying to run it without saving. So I will try to click on this and select Firefox. Okay, the browser is here. So now the test case has been run to completion. Now we want to see the report in HTML format. For that, we can go to this location, which is on the top over here, which is nothing but the location where you have created your project, and there would be a reports folder with today's date and time. So I will go to this is under this, under Git, is under Maya Final iOS, this folder, and then you can see a reports folder over here. Yeah, like you can see there are other folders like data files, test cases. The suite is exactly the same folder that you see over here. So today's execution today is 19th of June, so it has come over here. Name of the test suite folder and the test case and the report here you can see in HTML format. So this is the report that would be generated and it can be saved as a test artifact. So let us try to understand this report first. On the top would be the name of the test case or the test suite, some basic information about the system on which you are running and the version of Katalon and the browser, of course. And the report log would be over here. If it is overall, if all the test step has passed, it will come as overall as green over here. Or if even one step, even if one step has failed in Katalon, the whole report will be turned into red. If you expand it, you can see a high level dashboard information about when was the test started, when it got executed, how many tests cases and how many pass and fail over there. Further expand it, and you can see the full detail of all the steps. So you can see pass, that is opening up the browser. Next step is pass, that is maximize the current window. Another step is navigating to this particular URL has been successfully done. Next step is set text. So pass text admin is set to this particular object. So if you further see, for example, test number 5. So basically all these steps which is in the console is now present into a nice report of HTML over here. Yeah. So that's all about object repository, test suite, and the reports. I will see you in the next lecture on data-driven testing and how do we do some assertions using Katalon Studio.